I'm Generic Redstone Genius, and today we're going to do a guide on how you can build a mega base. So before we get into it, I just want to show you what I've built for mega bases, and this is the first one I've attempted to build. So it's pretty big actually, especially for the time I had to do it, and I didn't actually do much on the inside. I just made this like nice little interior, it's just glass and another portal, and then above hand I just like had more of the practical stuff. I had like a small tree farm and a super smelter. So I didn't do like a law on the inside, but it was still a very nice mega base. It's just this giant circle. And let's look at the next one now. And this was the second mega base I built. On the outside it's not as big. It is a nice little wooden house, kind of fancy with all the different floors and whatnot. And you can like run up here. And it's pretty cool with all the different like little interworkings. That's why I kind of built it, just because it's fun to like run around and you just look at the different aspects of it. But this one was much more practical in the sense of the underneath it, which was, geez, I haven't played on this in a while, which was there. And we had this huge room, and this is my storage system for the server, and we had a load of stuff, right? So, yeah, so I need to make this giant room to store everything I had. So I built this giant quartz room, and then I also have this map of my little area. So the first thing you're probably going to want to do is base what farms you make off of what you want to do for your mega base. So for example here, this is a tree farm, and as you can see that base over there, that's made of wood. So we might as well make a tree farm to easily collect all the materials instead of cutting down the trees manually. So you should probably keep that in mind. So for example, my previous base, on like the one I showed first, that one was made of stone. So I made a cobblestone generator that uses TNT to collect it, and furnaces to smelt it, like a super smelter to smelt it. So you should base the farms and what infrastructure you build. You should base that on what you plan on doing for a starter base. The next thing you want to do is collect most to all of the materials before you start building. So as you can see here, like you'd have to get roughly calculate how much materials you think you'll need. So if you're following a tutorial, which I mean it's kind of hard to do for a mega base, you can see like, okay, they say you need this much, or you can just kind of calculate using like area, so like length by width, this of like the bigger walls of your base, and then use that to roughly calculate how many blocks you'll need. And you should get most of it beforehand, because the mistake I made on the first base I showed is I didn't get all my materials first. I waited until I had I didn't wait until I had all my materials. I just got about like a quarter of them and started building, and it kind of sucked because I had to keep on going back and forth between building it, waiting for materials to like the cobblestone to generate and to smelt. So you should try and get most of it done first. And as boring as it sounds, you should have a plan. You need to understand that it is like a huge base that will take a large portion of your time. And also you shouldn't underestimate how long it will take you. So what I recommend you do is you build it in a testing world, even if it's just like a small module of it. So like for example, on this world, I built part of it on a testing world. I didn't have the time to build the whole thing, but what I did is I took a quarter of it. So I took from about a bit more than a quarter. So I took from here to about here, I think. So you can like view it basically from here, and you can see all of it, and built it up. And I used like the /fill command to make it easier, and I got a good idea of what it would look like from at least one angle. And I decided, like, I played around with it, I did all the calculations, I planned it out. So you should do something like that. You don't have to necessarily build all of it, but build enough of it where you have a good general idea of what you're doing. And the last thing I'm going to suggest to you is something that most people might not even think about. Make sure you have reliable transportation of the items that you're going to use to make the base, so like the materials, from your starter base or your farm area to your mega base. Now this shouldn't be too much of an issue if you're only a few hundred blocks away and you have shulker boxes and elytra, but if you're kind of far away, you might want to be careful, because if it's a dangerous journey, you don't want to lose all your items, and you also might not be able to do it in one trip. So you might want to make maybe like use rails and mine carts to transport it, or just figure something else out. So make sure you have reliable transportation. But that's pretty much it for now. I hope you guys enjoy this and utilize the information. I've been Generic Redstone Genius. I'll catch you guys in the next video.